Hello students, welcome to the world of biology. Today I am going to start with the topic photosynthesis. From childhood or from before previous classes, you have learnt about photosynthesis, that it is an important activity for all the green plants. With the help of chlorophyll, water, carbon dioxide and light energy, they are preparing the food in the leaf. This food they are supplying to other parts of the plant body, and they are helping the plant body to grow. Now we will see how important the photosynthesis is and how does the structures present in the leaf are helping in the process of photosynthesis. The importance of photosynthesis is that it is giving the food to all, as well as it is giving the oxygen to breathe in. These two important functions of the photosynthesis. Now, when we will study about the structure of the chloroplast, it is an important aspect or vital pigment present in the leaves which are making the food. Chloroplasts are the minute oval bodies bounded by a double membrane. It is an important organelle in the leaves which are consisting of their own DNA. They are divided into thylakoids, the pils grana and the base stroma. The chloroplast is in double membrane envelope. While drawing the diagram, you have to keep it in mind that you have to draw a double membrane. It is not a single layer. It is a double layered structure. The thylakoids, which are in piles of the grana, are connected with each other with the fret, and they are the interconnecting bars. It is consisting of the chlorophyll, and this chlorophyll is capturing the light energy during the daytime. The chlorophyll is also consisting of hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and magnesium, and especially they are present in the thylakoids. The chloroplasts are mainly contained of the mesophyll cells, the pellicid and the spongy cells which are present on the upper epidermis and between the lower epidermis. In pellicid cells and spongy cells, the leaves are capturing the light energy, and then they are helping in the process of photosynthesis. The word chloro means green and phyll means leaf. The green coloring matter found in the plants is called as the chlorophyll. There are more than 5 lakhs chloroplasts per square millimeter of leaf surface, and you will be surprised to know that 9 types of chlorophylls are there, and chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B are very important and most abundant chlorophylls present in the leaves. There is near about most probably chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B working for the process of photosynthesis. Chlorophyll absorbs the light and at both the ends of visible spectrum, that is blue and red light, and reflect away the green light. That is why chlorophyll appears green, and the absorbed blue and red lights are most effective for photosynthesis. Now, too much light is destroying the chlorophyll. As you can see, in summer season, the chlorophyll is destroyed, and the plants are dried. Now we will see the structure of the stomata, regulating the carbon dioxide, letting in the carbon dioxide. The stomatal apparatus is consisting of the guard cells, outer wall, the inner wall is present, the chloroplast is present, and the nucleus is also present. The stomatal pore is opened at daytime and it is closed at night time. This chloroplast is absorbing the light energy, as we know that the stomata are present on the lower surface of the leaves so that they can trap the oxygen from the lower surface of the leaf and they can give out the water vapor in the process of transpiration. Now the CO2 is taken inside during the daytime for the process of photosynthesis. When the stomata are not in use for photosynthesis, that is, when it is dark, they tend to close their openings. These openings are minimized through the transpiration, and when there is light after the sunrise, they reopen and allow carbon dioxide to diffuse in. Transpiration occurs along with photosynthesis, and that is why the transpiration and photosynthesis, both the processes are together. The closing and opening of stomata are on account of the movement of water in and out of the guard cells. That is, the guard cells are absorbing the water and the opening of the pore is absorbing the carbon dioxide. Opening and closing of the stomata are consisting of two theories, that is the potassium ion concentration theory and the sugar concentration theory. According to the potassium ion concentration theory, the stomatal opening and closing depend upon the generation of potassium ion, that is, during daytime the chloroplast in guard cells photosynthesis, which leads to the production of ATP. ATP is conducted by the mitochondria. The mitochondria is already consisting of the ADP, adenosine diphosphate. When is mixed with the potassium ions, then it is converted into adenosine triphosphate, which gives out the energy, and this energy is used by the plants. You are knowing about the hypotonic, and isotonic solutions. So when the potassium ions are absorbed by the guard cells, the hypotonic solution is absorbing more water and the adjacent cells is drawn in, and cell becomes more turgid and they move outwards to open out the stomatal pore. Reverse happens at night. The potassium ions leak out, thus reducing the turgor pressure of the guard cells, and the stomatal pore is closing. This is the potassium ion concentration theory. One more theory is that sugar concentration theory. You know that during the photosynthesis, the plants are making the food in the form of sugar, that is glucose. 6CO2 plus 12H2O with the help of light energy and chlorophyll makes the glucose. Water and oxygen is evolved out in the process of photosynthesis. Now, this sugar theory shows that during the process it increases the osmotic pressure. Before this lesson, we have learnt what is osmotic pressure, which draws the water from the adjoining cells due to the endosmosis, and the cell becomes turgid and bulges out during the daytime. But during the night time, the stomata are closing and the process of transpiration as well as the photosynthesis stops. The closing of stomata is for the shortness of the water and protecting the leaf from giving out the extra water. Now we will see the process of photosynthesis through the internal structure of the leaf. The internal structure of the leaf shows that the mesophyll cells, both pellicid and spongy cells, are present in the leaf, and during the daytime when the sunlight falls on the leaf, the light energy is trapped by the chlorophyll of the upper layers of mesophyll cells. The upper epidermis and lower epidermis are very thin, but the mesophyll cells and pellicid or spongy cells are filled up. The water vapor is also filled up inside the cells. The chemical processes which are taking place in the mesophyll cells are helping in manufacturing the food, where the raw materials are used like carbon dioxide and water. Now as I have told you in the stomatal structure, that the carbon dioxide is entering the leaf by diffusion down a concentration gradient, that is from higher concentration outside the leaf and the less concentration inside through the stomata. Then the water from the soil is taken up by the roots, sent up through the stem and finally to the leaves, where it is distributed in the mesophyll tissue, and this root pressure is helping in transportation of water and minerals towards the leaf. The chemical equation which is taking place is 6CO2 plus 12H2O plus it is mixed with the light energy, and the chlorophyll is also working on it, and it gives the glucose, that is C6H12O6 in the form of glucose plus 6H2O in the form of water, and oxygen is also given out as a product. As we have earlier discussed that the food and the oxygen for the animals is given by the plants, that is why the photosynthesis is very, very important. The 6 molecules of H2O are liberated at the end of the process, and the water is again used and reused, and the oxygen is used by the animals. This was about the steps and the organelles which are present or which are helpful in the process of photosynthesis. Now I have told you in the figure of this chloroplast that the thylakoids and the grana both are performing the very important functions in absorption of the light and the chemical reactions. These two reactions are light dependent reaction and light independent reaction. Now the word light dependent means it is dependent on the light, but light independent means it does not takes place at night, it takes place at daytime only. Only the light is not helping out in this process. Without light also this process can be taking place. Now let us see the light dependent phase. In this phase, the light plays a key role. There are 2 steps in this process, in this reaction. The light reaction, the photochemical phase, occurs in mainly 2 steps. The step 1 is the activation of chlorophyll. The chlorophyll which is present in the chloroplast or in the leaves, on exposure to the light energy becomes activated by absorbing the photons. Photons is the smallest unit of the light energy, we are knowing that, and splitting up of the light into the water molecules, that is 2H2O gives out, that is 4H plus 4 electrons and 2 oxygen. Then this reaction is called as photolysis, which means the splitting by light. Photo and breaking. Lysis means breaking. Photolysis is defined as the splitting of water molecule into hydrogen ions and oxygen in the presence of light and grana. The thylakoids mainly are helpful in this process. They are helping in absorbing the light energy, and the end results of the products of photolysis are the hydrogen ion are picked up by a compound NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, to form the NADPH. As the water molecules are giving out the hydrogen, 4 hydrogen molecules, they are attached by the NADP and along with the electrons, and the enzyme are also helping in forming NADPH. The oxygen component is given out as molecular oxygen, and the electrons are used in converting the ADP, that is the adenosine diphosphate into adenosine triphosphate. This process is called as the photophosphorylation, as it is the addition of phosphate, and since the energy used in this process comes from the light, that is why it is called as photophosphorylation. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next class.